We want to welcome in Franklin-Simpson head coach Max Cheney. Coach, welcome to Media Day. If you would introduce your players, please.
I brought Luke Richardson, who is be a third-year starter at quarterback, and Kyrus Burr, who will be a second-year starter at guard and linebacker.
Coach, we've started out these interviews pretty much all the same way. How has Franklin-Simpson football been doing navigating the last month and a half or so?
So I was talking to the guys on the way up here. This is the most I've gotten to see them in quite a while. We've been staying in pods of 10. We come in, different coaches with different pods at 8 o'clock in the morning. We lift for a little while, then we go outside and we condition. And my pod doesn't have either one of these two guys in it, but I can see them through the window and when they're outside. We've been doing that since June 15th. It's different, but this being a first year for me to be a head coach, nobody really knows any different. I mean, nobody can give you any type of advice on what to do during the pandemic. So that's how our coaches came up with a plan to attack it, and our AD liked it, and Coach Slaughter, our superintendent, liked it. So that's what we've been doing.
I mean, I know you've had experience with these kids, but still, as first year's head coach, what's this transition been like, having to deal with it this way and kind of the unknown challenges here?
Right. Well, there are a lot of unknowns, but you have to believe in your plan and attack. These guys, a lot of them needed to get stronger. A lot of them need to get in condition. So that's kind of how we went with it. We haven't been able to get any balls out yet because we're trying to stay, as focused as we can on what the plan is. And it's been a huge transition. Right now, I would normally know you take spring ball, you would take summer ball, you'd take 7-on-7. You'd be able to figure out, kind of where your team is, and gauge who's going to be where. And we have a ton of young talent on the team that really could have benefited from a spring ball and from 7-on-7.
Coach, right now on the KHSA website, you only have 7 games listed. Are you trying to find any more as of this moment?
Yes, we are actively trying to find. I've got several emails out and a couple phone calls. The thing that hurt us with the 7 games is we were scheduled to play Battleground Academy out of Franklin, Tennessee, and they're not a bordering county, so we had to give that up, and that's our 9/11 game. So that, it was kind of hard to find a 9/11 game. Most people already had that scheduled, but yeah, we're actively talking to some different schools.
Football-wise, what are you coaching, the players, guys, kind of looking forward to as long as we stay on the path? We expect to play games this year, so what are we looking forward to when we actually get on the field and get thrown around?
Yeah, I'll be brief and I'll let these guys talk. I'm looking forward to actually getting to coach football. I'm right now coaching conditioning and weightlifting, which is awesome. I'm glad we're getting to do it. Don't get me wrong. But, the guys I feel like that I get to talk to on a daily basis, and I'll call them and talk to them, they're ready to move on. They're ready to move on past the weightlifting and conditioning and start actually doing some football. But I'll let these guys answer that if they want to.
I'm looking forward to being able to play because, even though practices are short, we still putting in a lot of work. So I'm looking forward to being able to put that out.
Especially this year, we had a big senior group graduate last year, and like Coach said, we have a lot of young talent on the team that really would have benefited from a spring practice, and just a lot of kids who haven't played big-time varsity high school football before really need to be able to experience a real practice and be able to get out there with the team.
What's it been like for you, Luke, to kind of go from, young starter with a lot of veteran presence around you to now you're the veteran that everyone kind of looks to?
When I first got there, my freshman year, I got to learn a lot from a lot of great players, as you all know, and we had a lot of success. But over last year, we still had a big senior group, but this year I'd have to start becoming a bigger leader and be able to take over my team and be able to lead them in the right ways on the field, but also off the field, especially with Corona and all the guidelines we have to follow, not messing around town, just being the smartest we can to be able to play football, which we all want to do.
Frank, you guys have had a lot of success over the last few years, and so now building off of last year, Coach Cheney, your first year as head coach, what are you guys like on the field? What are you looking to improve on from last year?
Well, we'll look to improve, we talking about offensively, defensively, or just, we're going to try to simplify the defense. Coach McDougal, who's been at Franklin for a number of years now, he's going to be the defense coordinator. So we're looking to try to simplify the defense, make it easier for the kids so they don't have to think all the time, play a little bit faster, as fast as they can, I hope. We're also looking for some more passing opportunities. Everybody knows we're a run-heavy offense. I've been doing the offense with Coach Marsh since 2013. We love to run the ball, but we've got some young talent and we've got some kids that are showing that they can catch and get open, and so we're going to be looking to advance in that area. But we're still going to run the ball. Don't get that wrong. We're still going to run the ball.
So, yeah, it's funny you say that, Coach, because even when everybody knew you were going to run the ball, in years past, it couldn't really stop.
Well, yeah, in years past when you had his brother A.J. Burr and Dalton Hunter and Jack Randolph and that were well, that was a long time ago, but I'm just talking about in recent history. Those guys were really good too. But then you follow that up with a Trey Bass, a Leo Stutzman, a Carlos McKinney, Tedrick Partinger. I mean, those are some really good high school football players that really loved the grind and really loved to be able to just kind of cram it down your throat for 3 and 4 yards. A lot of those guys are gone. All those guys are gone. So, you've got to look for ways to still be successful and not have to wait till third down to throw the ball and, all that kind of stuff. But we feel good about the young talent we have. It's just they're young talent. They're inexperienced. So the spring ball, the summertime would have really helped to see what that could do. But I'm just glad we're in a situation where we can work out with each other, get to see each other, and then hopefully we're going to advance this thing, moving forward.
Offensively, Coach, keeping it on the running game a little bit, you may have already spoke to this, I apologize if you answered the question, but they might be young, but you have speed coming back, you have...
Yeah, we still have Omar Harrison, who was a great running back for us last year. We've got Malik Carter, who played some fullback for us last year. We've got a kid named Landon Graves, who moved in. He'll play some wingback for us. And then Jesse Punslin, who played for us last year. But we were talking about on the way, it's night and day from where he was last year to where he is this year, just from he has continued to push himself to the limit. I mean, he looks really good right now. So we've got 4 or 5 guys that can run the ball. I'm not saying they're Trey Bass, but I mean, we've got 4 or 5 guys that can run the ball, and we feel very comfortable with them running the ball. We also have some freshmen that, may be able to help us out.
First year head coach, I know you and I spoke when you got the job. Former Franklin-Simpson player, just, kind of revisit the fact that you are the head coach now, and just how much it means to you to be the head coach of this football team.
Oh, well, I mean, as I told you, I grew up, across the street from the stadium. I mean, you could literally throw a rock at the stadium from where I grew up. So it's an amazing experience. I love the town. I love the community. I love the kids. When we get into coaching, you get into coaching because you want to be around the kids. You don't get into coaching, or at least high school coaching, because you think you're going to get rich. So, I mean, there's not a lot of money, but I love being around the kids. They keep me young. I love the relationships. I love the sport of football. But to do it in Franklin, where I grew up, where I played, where I've now coached, Coach Slosser brought me in 2006, started coaching then. I mean, it's just an unbelievable, just very humble, very, very thankful that I'm able to do it. And I've got a bunch of great guys around me. The staff, we've got, Matt Marsh played there, Josh Satterley played there, Jermaine Roby's coming up with me, he played there. So, I mean, these guys have played in the system. They know what it is. They know what the tradition is, and they know what's expected. I mean, it's a lot bigger, not a burden, but it's a lot bigger, thing sitting on your shoulders that you have to now shoulder that, and you've got to be able to carry it forward. But super excited about it. I don't know that you could find anybody that's more excited about it than me and my family, my kids. They love it. So it's a very, very great experience.
I think yesterday they announced that Franklin was going to go NTI.
Yes. No, well, virtual. It won't be the actual NTI stuff, but it'll be virtual.
Is that?
Till 9/28.
Till 9/20, okay, that's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Does that change things for you as a head football coach as far as logistics go with players?
Well, you know, we had maybe a couple of players that were going to be virtual anyway, because we were going to allow virtual, you know, if a kid decided to be a virtual learner instead of an in-person learner, you know, we're still going to have practice at 3:30, which is after the school hours. You know, I don't know that it doesn't bode better for football. I mean, you're not going to be in the school. You're not going to be in the incubator, so to speak. I mean, I'm a proponent of going back to school, don't get me wrong, but I've heard some stories of places that have gone back to school and all of a sudden their cases have spiked. And, you know, so these guys are virtual. They'll do their due diligence and stay at home and do their work and then come to practice at 3:30. I mean, I think we've got a chance to get to the season. So it won't change that I know of. It won't change anything that we're doing as far as what time we're practicing or when we're practicing or how long we're practicing. Now, we might have to find ways to get guys there because they're normally already there on the school bus. So, but that's a bridge I'm willing to cross if we can still be playing. I talk. What'd you say now?
Your senior class, how big will it be?
I think it's 12 players right now.
So your junior class will be how many?
Oh, great question. What we got? It's probably 15. The meat of the class is the sophomore and the freshman. And there's also, there's a lot of, like I said before, a lot of young talent in that area.
Have you had any kids and or parents come up and say, as long as this pandemic is like it is, I just can't let my boy play?
I've had one young man tell me he lived with his grandparents. He takes care of his great grandmother who had recently got diagnosed with leukemia, and so he said, Coach, I can't do it. And I said, man, I get it.
I asked you to name him, and what class would he be in?
Senior. Yeah. And we've had a couple where the parents were, I'm going to keep him home. Like when the cases spiked, I'll keep him home this week, but they're back. I mean, and I get it. I'm a parent, that's a parental call. I understand. I do think that football, any sport's a risk. So, I mean, there's a risk involved, and you know what you're getting into when you play a sport.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. Players, good luck this season.
Thank you.